Hi everyone, David Aragona and Mike Beer here taking a look at the DRF Thursday race of the day, which comes at Kentucky Downs. It is their feature race there, the ninth on that card. The One Dreamer Stakes going the mile and 70-yard distance over that undulating turf course for the fillies and mares. And got 9 horses entered for this one. Mike and I are going to dive into this competitive race, but do want to make you aware we still have our Kentucky Downs package available in the DRF store. You can get all access PPs to every card, just $20. So check out our Kentucky Downs package to bundle your PPs for Kentucky Downs if you're going to be playing this meet at shop.drf.com. Let's throw up this field of 9 for the One Dreamer, Mike. And typical competitive race with this big purse here, attracting some nice horses coming in from different directions. And it does feel like a race where I'm not really sure who's going to go favored. It's pretty competitive among the top players.
That's what I thought. Kind of a wide open race here. A lot of different horses could win. The other thing that I found interesting, David, is because these races are almost impossible, and I'm always looking for horses that have already run at Kentucky Downs, and most of the field has already done that. I think only 2 of these horses have never run over this turf course before. So you have, some races over this turf course to sort of dig into.
Yeah, it's a good point. And the horse that is pegged as the slight morning line favorite, Viv does have prior experience over this Kentucky Downs course, a horse that is coming into this race in very good form. Let's take a look at the Time Form US pace projector to get a sense of where she and some others might be placed in the early stages of this race, Mike. And I think one of the features of this One Dreamer is that there's not a whole lot of pace signed on in here. And I guess that makes the number 7, No Mo Candy, more dangerous because it seems like she can get to the front pretty easily if that's where Irad Ortiz wants to be. And we've seen it over the past few seasons at Kentucky Downs, especially when they don't get a whole lot of rain and the turf course gets hard. Horses can sneak away on the front end.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's definitely something that you want to take into consideration. I mean, I felt like there were enough horses that have the kind of tactical speed to sort of keep in range of this horse at least. So we'll see how comfortable she can get up front. But you're right to point it out. I mean, she does look like the main speed in this field.
The Vub, that number 5, the morning line favorite, is shown towards the back of the pack. The same thing for horses like Watchtower and Grayosh, the latter of which could take some money in this spot. So do pay attention to where these horses could be placed early in the race because you don't want to see No Mo Candy out front winging if you're against her on a slow early pace. Let's go through this field from the rail out, beginning with the number 1, Sparkle Blue, and horse that's been good for a long time, Mike. She's now a 6-year-old mare. She's been knocking on the door at the stakes level. She's picked up a couple stakes along the way. She was a upset winner of the Grade 2 Hillsborough going back to the beginning of 2024 when she sort of used the different running style in a paceless race to go forward. She is much more of a closing type, though, and she used that style last time into the Anchorage at Churchill Downs, and I thought got a pretty good trip in there, maybe had a spot of traffic in mid-stretch, but those were slightly better horses. At least Pin-Up Betty is. She's probably a horse that's slightly tougher than those that she faces in here, and maybe it's a sign that she's rounding back into form because it did look like earlier this year maybe she had gone the wrong way.
Yeah, to me, she's always been a really tough horse to read, David, just because she's pretty consistent. She just doesn't win very often anymore. I mean, she started out her career with a bunch of wins, and since then it's been pretty few and far between that she's actually found the winner's circle. It just feels like there's a lot of graded stakes races on her card. Those races, they're really just too tough for her at this point. And even though this isn't a graded stakes, it's a $500,000 purse, and there are graded stakes horses in here, right? She's just not my kind of horse when she's facing competition like this.
And she is 0 for 2 at Kentucky Downs, but those prior efforts did come in the ladies' turf where she was facing probably better horses than this, so she certainly does handle the turf course. The number 2, Buttercream Babe, is a horse that, again, is trying to get back to some better form. She was pretty good during her 3-year-old season, Mike. I did think she got some very good trips when she was successful, but she came off the layoff this year and has kind of had trouble putting races back-to-back. She made one appearance early in the season at Keeneland. That was over a boggy turf course, kind of got a little traffic in upper stretch, but didn't really see it out after that. And then last time came back off another layoff at Ellis Park and stayed on late, but she got pace to close into, and I didn't see a big excuse for her in that race.
Me either. I mean, fair to say she was off of another layoff there. So listen, maybe things just haven't been going right for her so far, and she needed that last race. But man, that was a stretched out field. She got a clean trip into it. They bet her like she was ready to run off the layoff there. She just didn't really do a lot. And like you, David, I just feel like some of her good races last year, that they just came in races where she got great trips. Maybe she'll get another good one here. And she's handled Kentucky Downs before, but she's 15 to 1, so I'm not going to knock her, but I'm looking for other horses in here.
The number 3, Waves of Mischief, has definitely run well at Kentucky Downs before, finishing second in the Dueling Grounds Oaks last year. And since then, it's been a little bit up and down for her, Mike. I mean, she was a little slow to get started this season, didn't do a whole lot of running in the seasonal debut, picked it up a little bit behind Vive of 2 back, and then last time put forth by far her best effort of the season so far. I did think she got a pretty good trip in that Kentucky Downs preview because she sat along the rail most of the way behind a speed horse. They were moving at a decent clip up front, but she popped out at the top of the stretch like she could have won that race. And then the closers came. It was just a blanket finish across the wire, and she barely lost. So, I mean, I guess if she continues the progression, she could be dangerous in here.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. I mean, I am concerned that she hasn't really stepped forward yet as a 4-year-old. I really liked her as a 3-year-old. I liked a bunch of the races that she ran, including the QE2, where I'm not going to sit here and suggest she was going to win there, but talk about a horse who had a no chance trip in a race like that. It was her. And so I expected better from her so far this year. It hasn't happened yet. My initial inclination with the Kentucky Downs preview lady, whatever that race is, ladies turf now, whatever it is. My initial inclination there is it's not a good race. I mean, 6 of them sort of hit the wire together, and I've already been proven wrong about that. A couple of the horses that have run back out of there have already run really, really well in tough spots.
Yeah, Summer Simply in front came back to run well at Kentucky Downs, and the runner-up Amber Cascade came back to finish a pretty good second in the Flower Bowl at Saratoga last week. The number 4, Grayosh, is a rare Chad Brown runner in a stakes race at Kentucky Downs. You might notice he doesn't run too many horses in these stakes at Kentucky Downs. And this horse, Mike, she showed some talent last year, was an upset winner of the Lake Placid over She Feels Pretty, so that was a notable accomplishment. Hasn't really built on that form ever since then, and it kind of feels like her form has plateaued since she's come back as a 4-year-old this year. We're taking a look at her most recent start in the Matchmaker, where she did save ground early, had her chance in upper stretch, couldn't quite forge by in the late stages. And I've just kind of been waiting to see her take that step forward with her form, and it hasn't quite come yet.
Yeah, great. She just kind of is what she is on paper. She's pretty reliable. She can get good trips in her races, and when she's in the right spot, she's just going to be, really competitive. And for a Chad Brown horse like her, I mean, I guess maybe you could want to say she's a little bit underrated. I mean, they've run her in great stakes races. She's 7-1, 8-1, 9-1, and she's outrunning her odds in those races. So she's pretty good. She could win here. I would just wait and see what kind of price she is.
Number 5, Vive is pegged as the morning life favorite, and I kind of get it, Mike. I mean, she's got a recency edge on a lot of these horses because she's run well in her recent starts. We'll take a look at the most recent of those when she was the winner of an allowance race at Saratoga. They bet her like the race had already been run, hammering her down to 4-5 on this day, and she certainly ran like she was superior to this field. Got a good trip, but Irad Ortiz handled her with a whole lot of confidence, and she just used her turn of foot to sail past this field in the final quarter of a mile. I do think she's gotten good trips when she's been successful recently, Mike. And while she beat a good horse in Proctor Street 2 back, that one's obviously come on since then. And I do get the sense that she's been a little bit opportunistic through this run of good form. And I wonder if the waters get a bit deeper here.
Yeah, we'll see. I could go either way on this horse, David. I don't really want to knock her last 2 races too hard because she's really been impressive winning those races. So maybe she's just one of those fillies who's gotten good as a 4-year-old. We see it happen all the time. And it's not like she didn't have form to build on as a 3-year-old. She ran a bunch of good races last year in stakes company. I don't know. She's one of the horses in here for sure. And maybe she's even the horse to beat. But that doesn't mean I want to take a short price on her.
And she does feel like a horse that is more pace dependent than some others in here. So without a lot of speed in this race, it's something you do want to be aware of her running style. Same thing for the number 6 Watchtower, who doesn't have a whole lot of early speed. And a horse who was coming along towards the end of her 3-year-old season. She won a grade 3 in October, beat a pretty good horse in Medora out in California. And then the waters got a bit deeper as she tried the likes of She Feels Pretty. And then the Pegasus World Cup filly and Mare Turf was put away. But she came back off the layoff last time in the yellow ribbon, Mike. And I thought she ran pretty well in this race. The winner, Heredia, just got loose on the front end through some very slow fractions, and there was no way they were running down that horse who's got a big kick on her even when she's coming from off the pace. And Watchtower, for a horse that got bumped early and was way at the back of the pack in the beginning stages of this race, I thought she puts in a pretty good run through some quick closing splits to just miss getting up for second in here. And maybe it's a sign that she's taken a step forward as a 4-year-old because she does have the license to improve coming back for a new season.
I agree. First start off the layoff there for her. She certainly seemed like she was ready to go. And she put in a pretty nice run in that race. I'm not surprised that Boltis wants to ship her over here and shoot for a pretty big purse. Yeah. Maybe the race came up, a little tougher than he might have liked. But I don't see why she couldn't go with these horses. I do not like her running style that much. She's just one of those horses who doesn't show a lot of early speed in her races. So we'll see what kind of trip she can get.
The number 7, No Mo Candy, is that horse we were talking about with regard to the pace projector. She is likely to be out winging on the front end, and we'll see if that's enough to get her home, Mike, because we'll take a look at her most recent start in the Boston Spa, where she didn't have the lead all to herself, but she was sitting on top of the pace, and they were moving up front, and she does put away her horse she was sharing the leading duties with, Edict, in the top of the stretch here. You could see she's kind of hanging on her left a little bit, will eventually switch over, and just gets run down by some closers in here, but the horses that pass her, Ozara and Deep Satin, they are quality rivals, and at least she fights on a little bit at the very end of this race, Mike. She has been gradually improving since coming back as a 4-year-old this season, and her running style just makes her very dangerous in this spot.
Yeah, it does. We'll see if she just gets the right trip, and maybe she steals away and beats this field, David, but I'll certainly make her do that. I just don't really like any of her races. I didn't think she did anything particularly special last time in the Boston Spa. To me, she just wasn't good enough in that race and settled for third. She has those 2 wins at the end of last year in New York when they switched to her turf. I thought they were both kind of opportunistic wins. And I don't really like anything she's done since then. I hope that they better in here. She's the second choice on the morning line. I don't really want any part of this horse.
The number 8, Pharaoh's Wine, has a similar look to the morning line favorite Viva and might just be a better price. She's also been in very good form through her recent races in Kentucky. She won a couple in a row back at Churchill in early summer, and then went to that Kentucky Downs preview ladies turf at Ellis Park last time and just missed in that blanket photo finish. She was dead heated for second in that race. And I thought she put in a pretty good effort, Mike. She broke a little bit slowly, was probably further back than they really wanted her to be, and just got slightly outclosed at the end. But still, she's maintained her form, and it's been unwise to throw out anything that Dale Romans has put on the track over the past couple of months.
That's right. And listen, she was getting good right before they moved her up into that stakes race last time. She ran really well in there again. Romans has obviously gotten her good this year, and now they'll shoot for an even bigger purse. I thought this horse was pretty easy to make a case for, and she's already won over this turf course too, so you don't have to worry about that.
The number 9, Adrastea, is probably the outsider in this field. She's got the most to prove from a class standpoint of anybody in this race, but she's run some decent races along the way, Mike. I mean, Jose Ortiz is getting back on board. He is, I believe, 2 for 2 on her. He's given her some very good rides in her victories, 2 back and 4 back. I just think when she's faced stakes company like this, she's been a little bit exposed. She just lacks the finishing speed to really get past these horses in the late stages.
Yeah, exactly. And this race came up pretty tough for a horse like her. It's not like she got off easy with the way that this field was drawn. She's going to be a big price if you like her, but I didn't like her that much.
Let's go to picks for this One Dreamer on a Thursday at Kentucky Downs. And Mike, I was laughing when we threw the picks up earlier. Not surprising that we've got, I think, 7 different numbers up there in a 9-horse field, because there are a lot of ways to go in this race. It's not the easiest one to decipher, and you're going to land on the number 3, Waves of Mischief.
Yeah, these races are almost impossible. Yeah, I'm a fan of Waves of Mischief, and I don't want to give up on her yet, David. I'm going to give her one more chance here. She likes this turf course. She ran well here last year. I think her last race was a step in the right direction in a really live race. And I also have the other horse coming out of that race, Pharaoh's Wine. And they're kind of my 2 horses in here. They're both good prices on the morning line. They're the 2 horses I like the most.
I'm definitely afraid of No Mo Candy wiring the field. I've got her in the second slot. I just kind of feel like she might be the one that a lot of bettors land on. She could ultimately go favored here with IRAD, and didn't really want to take a short price on her for all the reasons you laid out earlier. And I just think Watchtower, the number 6, is going to be a fair price. I agree. I don't like her running style, but I do think that she ran well last time and has upside second off the layoff as a 4-year-old. So 6, 7, 1, 8 for me, and 3, 8, 4, 5 for Mike in the One Dreamer Race 9 at Kentucky Downs on Thursday. Good luck if you're playing the races later this week.